What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm with the boys, Xavier and Clark. Today, guys, we're going to be recapping UFC 312 Strickland versus DDP 2. Obviously, coming into the card, everyone was kind of shitting on it. Uh, how do you guys think the card delivered?
In terms of excitement, I would say it wasn't too bad. I never thought that the fights themselves were going to be bad. It's just, um, liked a lot of name value. So even like usually like it's name value added to good fights, and that's what makes a pay-per-view, as opposed to just like a random fight night card. Like if I want to see like just good scraps, any fight night card will do, right? So. In terms of the fights themselves, like there was a lot of exciting moments, I would say, within the card, but I would say the main event was kind of a dud, and then, you know, yeah. So I would not rate this card very great overall, but it definitely had some good moments.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like on my main card, I want fights. Like even if the fights are good, I need a story. I need these fights to have some weight, some title implications to them. Like you said, yeah, a lot of these fights were really fun, but at the end of the day, like they could have done better. But shout out to the fighters. What do you think of the card, Nick?
Yeah, it was all right. Uh, I think the top two fights kind of were a letdown, but rest of the card, decent fights. That crew fight was pretty decent. Teixeira just flatlining. Good stuff there. Good stuff.
Yes, sir. But yeah, let's start at the tippy top. We got ourselves a rematch with the same result. DDP wins via UD.
One
Um,
was
yeah, shout out his number one fan, Nicholas Clark. But I mean, DDP dominated. How did you guys score the fight?
shutout.
Shut
5-0.
up.
Yeah, I didn't thought Sean lost every round damn near.
Yeah, I either had it 4-1 or 5-0. Just the story of the fight is zero evolution from Sean Strickland. Sucks to say. In DDP, I know people are saying it was boring. People were booing during the fight, but I thought DDP had a good performance. I think he just outstruck him for 25 minutes, basically. What are your guys' thoughts on the fight and when it went down?
I will say it didn't play out how I thought it would. Um, I'm not gonna blame the staph infection, but I will say that like Sean Strickland, like he didn't look like himself in there. Honestly, even in a fight that I expected him to maybe struggle in and probably lose, like based on what happened in the first fight, I expected at least like some improvement from both guys, and I saw a worse version of Sean Strickland. He preached about how he knows he has to bring more volume, and he actually brought less volume this fight, surprisingly. Um, Different kind of situation, but another major, but like, but the broken nose worse than the cut, I would say, but like still another damaging strike from DDP. The man hits hard, broke Strickland's nose, and I think round three, uh,
Or
round it was four. It was early four then, right? Because I know like Strickland had to fight a while with that broken nose, man.
something like that.
I mean, respect to Sean, I did have like the fight to go to decision, so I was like thinking it was kind of fucked, but like most people would have quit in there. Sean Strickland has no quit in him. He actually started to fight a little bit better once he was like protecting that nose, which was kind of crazy. I think he had his best round once the nose was broken. But I mean, yeah, I mean Strickland didn't look like himself. DDP didn't shoot for any takedowns because he was like winning on the feet. So yeah, definitely like not the fight I expected to see, but I mean, you know. Show some decent evolution from DDP, I guess, if not regression from Sean.
Whew. Well, I enjoyed the fight very much. It was just a coasting victory. I mean, if I thought it was gonna be that easy, I would have just taken DDP by decision because it felt like a sparring match where like Sean's supposed to be the target because he wasn't throwing shit. The real story of the fight here is this man has a jab, a cross. which he didn't even use in this fight, and a teep, which he barely used in this fight. This man went out there in this fight in his second go around and just threw a jab the whole time, mainly with his left hand. Like, I don't even remember seeing him using his power right that much. So I thought Sean just underperformed. But it's like what I've been saying about him for years, like why he shouldn't have been champ in the first place. Like he has a limited toolbox and he always has. He's always fought the same to me. Like he's never evolved. He's always been the same fighter. So I just feel like it's catching up to him because now he's fighting better guys. And he got exposed. And I'm not surprised. I thought he'd do a little better. I'm surprised of the lack of output, but nah, DDP got me. He got me right. He got me right.
I
Yeah,
will say, DDP has impressed greatly on his cardio. I feel like that's something that like I wish I saw from a lot more fighters, man. I feel like for the most part, you guys can like agree or disagree with me here, but like I feel like for the most part, in my opinion, like people's cardio doesn't tend to get very better, like much better. I mean, like over the course of their careers, like people who tend to struggle early in their career with cardio issues, like tend to struggle their whole career with cardio issues. Now, I'm not gonna count like people just getting older and like struggling like at the tail end of their career, but I feel like for the most part, people with good cardio tend to maintain it, and people with bad cardio, no matter what work that they quote unquote like say they're putting into their cardio, it always kind of ends up looking similar. So I will, even though he still be huffing and puffing, don't get me wrong, but his output has gotten a lot more consistent. And I will attribute partially part of that is the fact that Sean really wasn't posing him much of a threat in there. So he was pretty comfortable the whole fight, but I will just applaud DDP for, really expanding on his cardio, which was one of his biggest weaknesses early.
yeah,
Yeah,
DDP's. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I respect Sean for staying in the fight. He didn't get finished, which I predicted in that fourth round. It looked like it was close for a sec, but big shout out there. But I don't know, man. Like the fact you just go out there, do the same thing, but just to a lesser, like he looked defeated every time he walked out. Each round, I was saying it, like the look on his face was like defeat. Like I've never seen him look like that in a fight. It was just confusing to me. But maybe like DDP was just throwing him off with those power kicks. Because he definitely kicks like a horse, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what Sean was doing out there.
Yeah, he's really good at like his thing, which is the Philly shell being defensive and all that, but you got to add on to it, especially when you're facing a guy like DDP. I was expecting a little more from the fight. I wish it was a little more competitive, but I think it's good DDP won for the division. We're gonna have a long talk about what's next for DDP. Really quickly, what's next for Sean Strickland? It's probably I don't think he'll ever get another title shot unless it's some bizarre circumstance. What do you guys want to see from him next?
Yeah, I hate to put limits on a guy, but I do think that this was his last opportunity. Um, Based on how he performed in the first fight, I will say like I'm not gonna consider him like a complete like flash in the pan champion, but like it's kind of mostly that I would say. Um, just as a guy that like I don't think he would have climbed. I don't think he would have got the title shot had he fought everyone up the ladder. Like he kind of just got his moment and took advantage, but clearly it wasn't sustainable. Um. Does Whitaker have a fight? Nah. I mean, I would say run him versus Whitaker, man. I feel like that's a good stylistic matchup that I mean they can box it out for the most part, and I would love to see that.
I'd be fine with him rematching Izzy.
Izzy or Whitaker are the names I've been seeing floating around a lot. I like both of those a lot. But anyways, let's move on. Obviously, DDP versus Hamzat is next.
Mm.
This fight is just I don't know. This fight is crazy to me. This is gonna be. Hopefully, it happens soon. I'm so torn on who I have. Like, I feel like obviously, if it gets out of the first two
We,
rounds, DDP
we
will take. What's
yeah.
up?
Wait, keep going at
No,
it.
yeah. But like, if you get out of the first two rounds versus Hamzat, it should be easy sailing. But like, I keep saying that. Like, I said that against Whitaker, but he fucked him up bad. But I don't know. DDP seems to be on a different level right now. So, someone put me on the side of the fence. Who do you guys got? Make some arguments.
Well,
You
you
know,
know where I'm going.
Who do you have, Xavier?
you know who I got, man. I'm not gonna start now. You know what I mean? I've been picking against DDP this whole time, and I'm
Oh,
not starting now. I will say if he gets past Hamza, I will pick him going forward. Unless it's like against the like I'm hearing like Alex thrown around if he gets past Hamza. So if it's that, I'm still gonna take Alex. But
okay.
I will say to his credit, like to his credit, like he has passed all these tests before, and I have doubted him before. So I must say that. But like, nah, I think that this is just the one, man. We've been saying for years, and like I think Hamza's just the guy. I thought even when Izzy was champ, like he was probably gonna be the guy to dethrone him. We see how that turned out. But and he's had some health issues that like have prevented him from rising up the ranks as fast as he like could have. But I mean, honestly, if we're honest with ourselves, like it wasn't like he like Kamaru Usman beat the shit out of him in round three and he was like gassed out with nothing left. He has like n nothing I've seen about his cardio is any worse than what I see off DDP every single fight. Huffing and puffing, but still throwing. So if he gets into that, um, I'm not so sold that like DDP is gonna take over if the fight goes on, like more so. I also think that DDP might be pretty like nervous to grapple with Hamzat. I can see Hamzat snatching up a submission in one of these shitty transitions that DDP likes to do because like we've talked about a million times, DDP's game is not very technical. It's a lot of like brute strength and like awkwardness. And against some, on a lot of his takedowns, he's kind of like, like just zombies his way forward. And I'm just like, I can just see a guillotine snatched up around that fat neck of his. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna predict that Hamza probably finds a sub. But yeah, if not, I'm still gonna predict that he can survive to the end. I don't think that DDP like will finish him with that, like unless he knocks him out like cold. I don't think that he's like would get to a dominant position on the ground and like win that way or sub Hamzat. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Hamzat to win, and I kind of see it via sub, but it could happen any way really.
Okay.
Well, obviously, I do foresee winning this fight. He's knocking him out later in the fight, but I
Damn.
I will say I do think he will get taken down in the first round. He has been taken down before. I believe Whitaker, Brunson took him down. He's gonna get taken down the first probably. But the question mark is, can Hamza get him out of there? Because I feel like if he doesn't get him out of there in the first like round and a half about, he's gonna start to gas more than Duplessis for sure. He 100% will. Especially since he's the one that's gonna be initiating the takedowns. And he's gotta get that big hunk of a man who's gonna be probably 220 going in there to the ground each time. And if he I feel like he'll win the early rounds for sure. But I feel like the longer the fight goes, he is levels above on the feet, in my opinion. So, and we don't know what Hamzat's shin.
What level? DDP is not levels above shit on the feet, first of all. Like
What does Hamza do on the
he's
feet?
levels above a fifth grader barely, bro, on the feet. I swear to God.
That's been a big question mark for me going
Out
into.
everyone. He's outskilling everybody.
He's out dogging everybody, is what he's doing.
Uh,
But
uh, uh,
Usman,
yeah, I was saying, like a big thing for me that going into every Hamzat fight is like, what does he have to offer on the feet? In the last fight with Whitaker, I predicted that if Hamzat were to win, I could see him like chinning Whitaker. Whitaker's a little chinny, and Hamzat, I'm sure, has that one shot type of knockout power. We just haven't really seen it. Where do you guys think Hamzat's stand-up game is at? Because we all know what the wrestling and submission game is about. What's the stand-up looking like, you think?
I mean, we've seen it a couple times where he was like extended on the feet against Gilbert Burns and Usman, and I mean, it didn't look horrible to me. I mean, against Usman, like Usman started to take over a little bit towards the end of the third round. Had a lot of momentum going forward. Like that was like we were all so impressed with him, but like it wasn't like Hamza was like super gassed and not throwing two or like you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was like more like we were impressed with how good Usman was doing against Hamza. But we forget that like Usman one of the GOATs, man. He one of the GOATs who was probably like feeling good at like a higher weight, not depleted by a weight division, you know. 3 round fight, didn't have a camp, you know what I mean? And he was kind of like he said it himself, he was kind of like he didn't trust his gas tank all the way, so he was like being a little bit like conservative with his output early. So I mean, I don't hold that too much against Hamza. And against Gilbert Burns, you know, where their grappling was kind of like nullifying each other a little bit once like, you know, he gassed out a little bit. I thought he did fine on the feet. Showed that he had grit, showed that he can keep throwing even if he looks like he's a little gassed. So, I mean, I just see nothing that like suggests that DDP has some significant, maybe a power advantage. I'll give it to him, but not a technical advantage, honestly. And DDP a clumsy fucker, and I can see if Hamza doesn't just, you know, blow his load in the first round like he has been, if he just like can secure DDP and like, you know, methodically just, you know, not expend all his energy, I could see him continuously getting him down, honestly. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm seeing this fight a little different than you guys, I guess.
I'm torn. I'm still kind of on the fence.
I mean, look, I think his striking is all right. Like, he's definitely not bad. But compared to DDP, throwing question mark kicks, spinning body kicks, head kicks all over the place, like, nah, different level on the feet, in my opinion. But, he looks clumsy, but, like, at least he has those to his arsenal. Like, Hamza has none of those,
We've just not had to see it really. I just feel like.
I guess, but.
Nothing I've seen on the feet when Hamzat's striking is like, wow, he looks so out of like a fish out of water, or like he looks so clumsy up here, or like so uncoordinated. Whereas I definitely feel that way every time I watch DDP fight. You know what I mean? So
But he's throwing question mark kicks and spinning body kicks.
I feel you.
Perfect.
I feel you.
I I think this has entered my top three in terms of fights I'm excited for this year. One, Aspinall Jones. Two, Islam Taporia. This will probably be third. Whoever gets past the other one, I think is going to rule this division for a minute. What do you
I
guys think?
I agree.
Think so. Okay.
I think Barrio could fucking beat DDP as well, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think DDP beats Imavov, and that's gonna be probably the next title shot, I would say. Um, we've seen he beats Whitaker. So yeah, I would say Barrio is his last like worthy challenger in my mind. I think he runs through everybody else.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. Anything else you want to touch on the main event?
Now let's get to this co-main, man. You know what
Yeah,
I want.
let's get to this co-main.
Hey, shout out DP, man. Shout him out.
I hold on. Let me fucking take my hoodie off for this. Let me get a little closer to the fucking kid, man. I told you boys, man. I told you I was gonna make you guys eat crow, and now the chickens have come to roost, bro. They've come to roost. Zhang Wei Li, man. Remember the name. She learning English now too, late in her career. I love that shit, man. I love the fact that, you know, even when she speaks in her broken English, the fans like love her, man. They like eat every little word up. It's beautiful, man. We like she's gained a lot of respect over the years, and I'm glad to see like the people fucking with her. Even when a lot of people were like pro Tatiana Suarez, seemingly. Um, they still showed Whaley even respect and didn't boo her or none of that shit in the lead up to the fight. So I fuck with that. But yeah, I fucking told you guys, man. I think I'm not gonna lie. We all thought that Whaley would struggle more with Suarez's wrestling early, and she got her down and controlled her decently for most of round one. It was a little bit concerning, but like I told you guys, I know she's gonna get her takedowns, but she's not gonna be able to hold Whaley down. And I don't think that like cardio for cardio, she's gonna be able to outgrit Whaley, and that's exactly how the fight went, man. After like round one. Right, like Willie, reverse position, got like about a minute of top control, and like Suarez never regained momentum of the fight from there. Um, I thought that Suarez looked a little slow on the feet. I thought that she looked like she did not have any plan B or C's. She had one game plan, and when that was not working, she kind of looked like a fish out of water. It was kind of pretty early that I kind of started to see that she was fucked. And you best believe I was laughing my way all the way to the bank. Whaley at a dog, what? Never again. I hope that the books keep fucking up with that. I hope I keep fucking them up if they keep doing that, man. But yeah, shout out Suarez. I think she's still like that's probably her last title push, but I mean I think she can still gatekeep and beat a lot of these girls if she wants to stick around, but yeah, this was her shot, and I mean, I don't want to say she blew it. I just think that Whaley fucking is that bitch. She's cold, man.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance for sure. I was very surprised Whaley or Suarez had such a hard time getting her down. I think she mainly gassed out though by the end of round two, going into round three. She was clearly tired. Didn't have much answers on the feet. I thought she'd do a little better there, but Whaley was just much quicker than her. Got her basically with every overhand right, pretty easy. Uh yeah, it was disappointing, man. Like I really just expected more. Um but Whaley's just different, I was wrong, but that's okay, you know. I just thought she'd be the one. Now there's no one. Like everyone after, no one. So it made sense. I don't think she should have been the favorite on the betting in Vegas whatsoever. Uh, that was crazy. So shout out. A lot of people did bet on Whaley though. So feel like
People, people in this game love to get caught up in the moment, man. They love to get caught up in the new rising height, the high tides, man. We see it a million times. These hype trains get stopped.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna say Suarez is a hype train, but I will say like for them to for the odds makers to think that she was favored to win this fight, I just didn't see it. And I mean, I'm glad that the fight showed that I was right on that.
See, my thing with that is I haven't been too impressed. Well, obviously, not including this performance, she looked insane. But like Zhang's last couple fights, she also has been pretty inactive, and she didn't look extremely dominant, at least as much as she did in the past. And Suarez was running through girls. She was doing things to girls that like you just don't really see a lot. She was subbing up everybody, undefeated, never really in trouble. I thought she had a good first round. She didn't do much of the takedown, but I thought she won the first round, but it was all Zhang from then on. Um, yeah, Suarez just got tired really early. Nick and I were kind of talking about it before also. I did not like her entries for a lot of these takedowns. Just not a good variety. She just kept kind of diving for Weili's hips, and you are not taking Weili Zhang down like that. She is way too powerful, way too strong. And also, Suarez, I hate when wrestlers do this in the UFC. She had absolutely nothing to offer Zhang on the feet, offensively or defensively. I thought she got lit up. She had zero highlights on the feet. She didn't have a jab, a leg kick, nothing. And Zhang just dominated. I think Zhang has cleared out this division. I don't think there's anyone really right now that I care to see her fight. I want to see her move up and fight for the 125-pound belt.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's the only thing that's like left, man.
Yeah.
And as far as her not looking super impressive in her last couple title defenses, I think that that also kind of comes with like the John Jones effect, man. Complacency, man. When you know you're like better than these girls, I feel like it's a little hard to like get up for him. And I think that also Yan Xiaonan is also just a little bit better than, well, a lot better than we kind of anticipated. Um, you know, and I think that she actually got up for that fight more so and like performed the best of her abilities, whereas I don't think Suarez did. I think Suarez there's a version of this that even if Whaley wins, like she puts up a better fight.
Hmm.
Um, I will give her that. I don't think that this fight was destined to look exactly like this. I thought it was going to be a little bit more competitive, but yeah, she can't rely on being a one trick pony.
Yeah.
Especially when she, like you said, didn't like have very much variety to the takedown attempts. So, I mean, Whaley kind of was like, okay, I'm just gonna flip my hips, take you down. You know what I mean? Win this scramble, end up on top, and that kept getting progressively easier as the fight went on.
Hmm. Yeah. And I don't believe Suarez. I don't think she showed up, but I don't think she's a fraud. I'll put that out there. I don't think she's bad or anything. She just got beat up. She'll be back. I'm sure she'll get some more wins. She's not a fraud or anything, but yeah, Zhang at 125 is very compelling.
Definitely.
A good fight.
Hey, add one to the books, man. That's another title defense for me. I'm already winning. Shit,
I
crazy.
mean, greatest strawweight probably of all time. She did lose to Rose twice, which is like the caveat, but like other than that,
They
Hey,
do.
man, Amanda Nunes lost to fucking Juliana Pena, so come on now.
yeah, it's true. This is true.
This is MMA. Sometimes shit happens, bro. She got caught the first time. I thought she won the second fight, but whatever. It was close. Like, I don't know. A lot of people get caught. Islam's got caught in one of his fights. I wish that fucker would do it again. I want to see him try. Where is that guy? We don't even know. So,
Yeah, so
hey,
we'll give Zhang the GWOAT status at 115, I think.
she's the goal. She's the goal easily.
I do want to see Shevchenko versus Furiat soon. Like I want to see them fight first and then the winner of that fight Zhang, but yeah, Zhang should move up. But let's move on guys to our featured fight of the night. Featured fight guys on a pay-per-view. Justin Tafa, Talison Teixeira. Uh Talison Teixeira is terrifying. First of all, I did not watch any of his highlights. I'll be honest. This dude is ginormous. He's really tall and lanky, and he's not just some like fat blob. He has decent movement for heavyweight, and he one shot at top up, bro.
I
Yeah.
I told y'all when I saw the pic of this man and the 7-0 record, all TKOs, and the height, I was like, it's over for Tafa. He's gonna flatline him. Like, I didn't think it'd be that insane. Like, just from an elbow, just boom,
Oh
like
my
go
god.
down. Even argued the stoppage, which I thought was crazy. He wasn't even moving. So like. But like, yeah, this man just ran through Tafa. He looks like a beast, and he looks very quick on the feet as well.
I can kind of easily see this guy being maybe what the UFC thought Roman Despain was supposed to be.
Yes.
I mean, that guy's since been cut because he can't fucking stop a takedown to save his life. But yeah, man, I can see. I mean, what he is like new blood in a much needed division, like the heavyweight. I think that there's only like I heard that there's only like 30 of them on the roster, the shallowest division in the UFC, just because like it's kind of hard to find big bodies. And because of that, a lot of them are not very high quality. So I can see this guy racking up a good amount of wins before he meet someone that's comp. Because if you can beat Tafa, Tafa is by no means like a bottom of the barrel heavyweight. He's like a middle of the pack, journeyman kind of guy. Like wins exciting fights by knockout, loses against anyone with more than 2 minutes of cardio. You know, we all know the book on these guys, and there's many more of them in the division. By the way, he's not the only one, and there's actually a lot of people that he can and will chin and has chin. So. For Tashiro to make him look easy out there, especially early on, it wasn't like he gassed him out. He just kind of whooped his ass. So I think that if he can stop even a monochrome of a takedown, like he can have a decent little heavyweight run for sure.
Yeah. Uh, I'm looking at the top 10 right now. I don't want to rush him into anything crazy, but like heavyweight's pretty trash. Dude, throw him in there with like Kennedy, Nezachua, bro. or Waldo Cortez. Like, yeah, let me share my screen.
Throw him in there with Salsa Boy is crazy.
Like, how do you guys see him stacking up against some of these like 10 through 15? I think this guy could be like the shit, man.
I think he beats Maze for sure.
I think he beats Gaziev.
That'd be a fun one.
Ooh, no, I think.
I mean, unless like if he, I'm assuming he can like grapple on Tad, but
Yeah.
shit, man,
I mean,
I hate to sacrifice Derek Lewis.
I mean,
That's
I
such a
can't
Derek
do it.
Lewis fight.
I can't do it, but like that shit would be a slapper. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude,
Someone going to sleep, but I don't want to see it because I think it might be Lewis. I don't.
just sacrifice Tai to Ivasa, bro. He looked like 400 pounds during like media week. He's on like a 9 fight losing streak. Just sacrifice him to Teixeira.
I
Like
think
they're
it's
cutting Biggie Boy, but you're keeping Tai to Ivasa. Like what's up with that?
absolutely gross. Biggie Boy actually can win fights, man.
That's what I'm saying. He beat Tai, but Teixeira should be a fun new addition to this heavyweight division. Like you said, X, we need new blood in this division. And I thought, what was the name of the guy you said? Despain?
Yeah,
I was convinced. I was so on board with like this giant Cuban dude just destroying everybody. I was on board. Then it all fell apart. So shout out to Shara. Hopefully he can make something of himself. Anything else on that fight, guys?
I'm good on it.
That's
I'm
crazy.
mostly good on this card, I think, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I was gonna say like it's crazy how we just spent like 10 minutes talking about fat heavyweights, but we have to. There's nothing else to talk about.
It's crazy, man. Real quick, I thought that Borishev was gonna do better, so shout out Tom Nolan, man. He got a good dub. I fuck with Borishev usually, so he kind of had Borishev like a little outclassed out there, and I was surprised. So shout out Tom Nolan. Wayne Kong doing her thing, man. It wasn't like super impressive of a fight. It wasn't that much of a fun fight, but you know, she's still rolling, so shout out. Shout out Alexandre Topuria and Kobe Thickenese,
Yeah,
man, because
that's a
Thickenese
big storyline.
definitely he showed that he's got some shit in there, man. He's not as he did very well for himself. All those rounds with Volk clearly paid off. And for Topuria, I kind of felt like he had an extra gear that he just kind of didn't get to. It looked like he was like fixing the chin Thickenese, but it just kind of never materialized. He had like, you know, decent boxing. It wasn't he didn't have the most output. I want him to up his output going forward, but I think he was kind of he kind of looked like one of those guys who kind of believes in his power, like kind of like Ilya, and it's kind of like looking for a shot that just never came. But he did enough to get the decision. So I mean, I would like to see him against someone who's gonna I don't know bring out more of a firefight in him, someone who's gonna bring it to him a little bit more. Um, but yeah, shout out him for getting a dub. You know, and had he just like lost to Kobe Thickness, like that shit would be horrible for the UFC. Like now, at least like they can slap the Taporia brothers on future cards. You know, Spain card. You know, and
Facts.
it could be decent. Anything else? Oh, shout out Jonathan Mikalev.
oh yeah,
He
big.
actually looked fucking decent as fuck. Hooped on Kevin Jusant. So as a decent undie, cashed in on that. So yeah, I fuck with him. And then man, can we just bury Jubilee? Fuck. Like
Oh, come on, man.
I mean I know that they need like, you know, to tap into that Indian market, but geez, I'm
There's
sick.
got to be better Indian fighters, bro.
There's gotta be,
Got to
man.
be.
Get Dave in that bitch, I swear. But yeah, that's about it for me.
What about you, Clark?
Yeah, not much else. Nice sub by Santos. Big comeback win for him.
Yeah. All right, though. That about does it, guys. Sorry for the short vid. This pay-per-view just wasn't much, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out the TikTok. We're gonna have some more videos coming out later this week, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Catch a piece.